Yeah.
There's a lot of movies coming out next year.
Yeah.
But let's kind of go through we'll give our kind of our takes on some of these that seem interesting to us, or ones that seem like we are dreading.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Megan is coming out tomorrow, and so is Women Talking. Megan is a horror movie. I don't like horror movies, so
Yeah. It's kind of like it's Killer Doll
yep.
horror movie. It's like Chucky. Yeah.
But with like a technology angle, it sounds
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Women Talking, which is basically about a bunch of women in a cult talking about assault of various types.
Hmm.
But I do find that that's what Women Talking is like a title where I get what they're going for, but it also sounds like it's opening itself up for a bunch of sexist punchlines.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not too interested in it.
No. We've got House Party, the remake, coming out. I don't know. I mean, when you get down to it, House Party as a concept is pretty cheap to film, so I guess I can see them wanting to bring it back.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Plain.
Uh,
Plain. That's just.
yeah, I saw a trailer for that. It's like my dad and I were like, "Plane? What kind of a title is Plane?"
Yeah. It's. Yeah. Yeah. That looks like a standard, B level movie, action movie type thing.
Yeah, it, it feels like they had a placeholder title. What's the movie called? Ah, we'll just write down Plane
Plain. Yeah.
movie. And
Yeah.
then they went too far along, and somebody took off the word movie because it made it sound like it was like one of those not another teen movies or whatever, scary movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just plain,
Just plain.
which Plain, that would have been a more appropriate title from everything I can tell.
Yeah.
Another title where you left yourself open.
Yes.
All right, February, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Eh.
Yeah, it's probably going to be better than the other ones we've been getting, but from the MCU, but not necessarily fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't too too enthralled with the first two Ant-Man movies, so.
Yeah, see, I really liked Ant-Man 1. Ant-Man 2, I was bored to tears. Like,
Mhm.
as much as I dislike Captain Marvel, I think that Ant-Man the Wasp might be it competes with Captain Marvel for worst MCU movie I've actually seen
Mhm.
because I don't hate myself enough to go see the Eternals, which I suspect would take that crown in a
Uh, uh,
heartbeat.
it would. Yes, it would. Yeah.
That's right, you
Yeah.
subjected yourself to that, didn't you?
I subjected myself to it. Yeah, it's
You poor
awful.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. But so
Um, we've got Cocaine
Cocaine
Bear,
Bear.
directed by what's her name from
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth. Thanks, thank
Yeah.
you, from the Pitch Perfect movies and recently of Charlie's Angels,
Yeah,
which
she's trying to make a comeback with this. Yeah.
it's a okay is so that one movie was a great example of how to turn off an audience in two steps.
Hmm.
Uh, Step one, make a movie that is explicitly not for them in a genre that feels like it should be for that audience.
Yeah.
Step two, berate them before and after the movie's release.
Yeah.
Don't come see this movie. It's not for you. Hey, why didn't you come see my movie, you sexists?
Yeah. Yeah, that always works.
Yep. Because people love feeling bad about their entertainment. They
Yes.
love to feel like their entertainment is lecturing them and they are bad people if they just don't happen to want to go spend $20 plus buy popcorn and a drink to be lectured at.
Yeah, exactly.
But Cocaine Bear, that sounds fun.
Yeah. It's got some good people in it. I mean, you got Kerry Russell, Ray Liotta. I'm assuming was his last movie.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, because he passed away last year.
Hmm?
And then O'Shea Jackson Jr. Probably most people probably don't know this. That's Ice Cube's son.
Oh, interesting.
And he played his father in that Straight Outta Compton.
God damn, it's like a little mini me.
Yeah, he looks just like him. Yeah,
It's spooky.
yeah.
Let's see here. Creed 3, which won't have Stallone in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Creed 2 yet, so
You're ahead of me. I haven't seen Creed 1.
Creed 1's good. It's basically just a rehash of the original Rocky.
Right. I mean, I saw Rocky Balboa in the theaters,
Mm,
and I was a little bit surprised that that character was brought back, like the one that he fought in that title fight. But
yeah,
uh, I don't know. I haven't felt the desire to go see it just yet. I'd probably want to rewatch Rocky before I did that.
yeah.
Scream 6, rating to be determined.
Oh, gee, I wonder when it's going to be rated.
Well, it's probably going to be R if they are serious about being a horror movie, PG-13 if somebody wants to try and sell more tickets because they figure that, oh, well, if we let the teenagers go in to fondle each other in the back seats while they're in the movie theater, we'll make more money.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you do if you do it PG-13, then you've alienated the Scream fans, the fans of the franchise, because they're expecting an R-rated movie.
Let's see here. 65, starring
Adam Driver,
Adam Driver, aka Darth Vader knockoff number 2.
emo Darth Vader knockoff.
Yes. Um, it's a sci-fi movie, thriller film. He's got a gun on on the poster, which is a good sign, I guess, for it
Uh,
being actually actiony.
yeah, yeah. That might be pretty good.
Coming out the same weekend as Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Eh.
I liked the first one, but the problem it sounds like from what I hear in the second one is, you remember at the end of the first Shazam when they gave all of his friends the exact same superpowers as him?
Yes.
Boy, I wonder how you're going to balance that many characters. It's like they made that knowing it was going to have a sequel and be part of a larger universe. They didn't care.
Yeah. I didn't. I'll be honest. I really didn't care for the first movie. It was okay. Uh,
It was the most marvelly of all of them.
yeah, and that might have been my problem with it. Was a little too goofy.
It is kind of funny how, as a teenager, Billy Batson was kind of an emo whiner, but then
Mhm.
it turned very goofy once he had the wisdom of Solomon, supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's
So
like the divine wisdom is not to take things too seriously.
yeah, maybe.
Let's see here.
Oh,
John Wick Chapter 4. You know, I
John
need
Wick
to
4.
actually
Yeah.
watch those movies. I've had John Wick 1 for ages, and I just never have gotten around to it.
Yes, you need to watch those movies.
I know, I know.
They're, they. I mean, I was skeptical of it at first because like I know how the first movie starts. I'm like, okay, so he goes on a revenge spree because his puppy dies or his puppy gets killed. I'm like, that's a little weird. But then when you watch it, it makes more sense. And I will say the sequels aren't as good as the first one, but they're still good, entertaining movies. Yeah,
So it's like a classic 80s thing where it's like you have the first movie, like, say, Rambo, that's kind of has a serious topic, and then it just turns into a cartoon.
kind of. Yeah,
Okay. Let's see here. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. My friends, when we went to go see the quintessential quintuplets in theaters,
yeah.
I happened to step out to get to use the bathroom, and I came back and they were talking about how great the trailer for it was.
Hmm.
So we're actually going to end up seeing that.
Well, well,
Um,
I hope it's good for you.
yep. I mean, it looks like it's basically just a straightforward action or excuse me, action fantasy movie.
Yeah, I think the original one probably still has left a lot of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Well, I'd say on the flip side that things like oh, what's that one podcast with all the voice actors playing D&D? Critical
Uh,
Role.
okay.
Things like that have Like up until pretty recently, Dungeons and Dragons has been having a big boom time.
Mm,
Aside from all the fans used to be racist things, which I
yeah,
don't get.
yeah,
Like like it's like, okay, you don't have to play if there is actually a racist in your community who plays Dungeons and Dragons with you. It's kind of
yeah,
your fault for continuing to invite them to the table.
yeah, yeah. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to keep bringing them back.
You can find literally anybody you want to play with and make up whatever house rules you like.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. If you're the dungeon master, you can kick them out.
Yep. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I haven't played RPGs since pandemic, and I there's a lot of times when I don't necessarily miss it.
I was just thinking about with Dungeons and Dragons. The people who play that game. It's bad enough. 30, 40 years ago they were accused of being Satanists, and now they're being
Yeah,
accused of being racist. Like, come on, give them a break.
yeah. Um, Biggest April release is going to be Mario Brothers.
hmm
I, I'm going to be very curious to see how that one does, and we might actually end up seeing it.
Yeah, yeah. We may end up doing a yes hype review on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of mid on it, and I think that's because I was willing to just go see Sonic and just let it be whatever it was, and it was just like a very traditional '90s type movie,
hmm
which meant that it was better than most of what we get nowadays in
Yeah.
genre entertainment.
hmm
This one, but also Sonic lends itself more to having a story because Mario is kind of a flat character in most presentations.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, the fact that they're starting Mario from a low place might be what the fans are disagreeing with.
Mm.
Now that I think about it,
Yeah. He's starting at the bottom and then working up. Yeah.
so are they girl bossing Peach a little bit in the trailer? Maybe, but
Yeah.
that's when I'm willing to go. Is Nintendo really going to let them trash their character again?
No.
That they learned their lesson from the '90s movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course one change I know they did make, and from a story standpoint, I think you pointed this out, and it makes sense. That he has to go rescue Luigi
Hmm.
instead of Peach, which um, definitely, because I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him to go to the Mushroom Kingdom or wherever and rescue a princess he doesn't know. It makes more sense for him to go and rescue his brother.
It also gives you more face time with Peach herself.
Right.
Let's see here. Renfield with Nicolas Cage. Well,
There you go.
after watching that Bearable Weight of Massive Talent, that might be an automatic go-to.
Yes. Uh,
Evil Dead Rise. I
yeah.
I'm not
I saw
super
the.
interested in Evil Dead in general.
Yeah. Um, I saw the trailer for it. I wasn't really all that impressed. Um, I mean, I think after Ash versus the Evil Dead, I'm kind of done with it because Bruce Campbell has already said he's retired the character. He's not playing him anymore. So
Well, I mean, after you got what 3 movies with him, 3 plus.
three. Well, yeah, 3 plus, and yeah, 3 movies, and then 3 seasons of Ash versus Evil Dead. I mean,
Right,
that's
that's a
yeah,
lot to play one character, especially at his age.
yeah,
Untitled George Foreman biopic with Forrest Whitaker.
interesting.
Interesting that that's untitled 3.5 months from release, but
Yeah,
it's here. Okay, first big Marvel release of the year. Sorry, Ant
Guardians.
Man.
Yes.
There's a reason they shoved you into February.
hmm
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I have heard so many people saying, yeah, that's probably the last Marvel movie I'll go see, then I'm out.
Yeah, that's probably true for me as well. I mean, I was kind of done with it. I've been kind of done with it after Endgame, but then I saw Spider-Man: No Way Home, and Um,
I still haven't watched that. How I've had that Blu-ray sitting on my desk for an entire year. Yeesh. Okay. I have a backlog.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like I mean, this is yeah, but this is really the only Marvel movie coming out that I'm even remotely interested in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see here. Then later on in Fast 10. I have not seen a single Fast movie.
I've seen the first one, and that's it. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
I'll be very curious to see. Like, it feels like that after Paul Walker was it died, they should have
Hmm.
probably just ended it.
Yeah,
But of course, money.
yeah, yeah.
You've got the Little Mermaid,
Mm.
so get ready for more culture war.
Oh, that's gonna be yeah, yeah. Late May and early June is gonna be a really fun time for us.
Yeah,
Uh,
mind you, it doesn't help that it's a Disney live action remake, and I haven't met one of those I've liked.
yeah.
Though Shadiversity makes the Cinderella one sound like it was actually a good one that if they'd followed the premise of actually making it a distinctive movie, might have actually gone well.
Yeah, I've heard that too about that movie. I Kenneth Branagh directed it, so
Hmm.
it might be pretty decent. Although he also directed Artemis Fowl, and that movie was god awful.
Hmm.
But
Well, that was
yeah,
a straight to Disney Plus one, wasn't it?
yeah, because of COVID. Yeah,
Okay, so it was going to go to theaters, and then the world was spared it because of COVID.
yeah,
Well, millions of people died, but I think it's worth it just to keep Artemis Fowl out of theaters.
ooh. Uh,
Dude. All right. So Friday, June 2nd, we've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
meh.
I want to see it just because I hear it's going to have Japanese Spider-Man, the emissary
Oh,
from hell, himself appear in it.
oh, really?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I'm conflicted.
Yeah. It's also got Spider-Man 2099, a Peter David creation that I really enjoy. Well,
Yeah,
actually, I enjoy Peter David usually no matter what he's writing.
yeah, yeah. And I will say with the first movie, like it was okay. What I thought the climax was a little over the top. Um, and speaking of Nick Cage, though, he was the voice
Yep.
of
Spider-Man Noir,
Spider-Man
yes.
Noir. Yeah,
Nicolas Cage is in everything.
yes,
And of course, we have a race-bent Jessica Drew in it as well. So hooray for culture war.
yay.
Let's see here. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. That's going to be hard to predict how well that's going to do.
Yeah. Now, okay, so is this a sequel to Bumblebee?
I am not sure.
Because
Uh,
that time the Transformers continuity has really gotten messed up. It got messed up, I think, with the first one with Mark Wahlberg because it's so all over the place.
the film is okay, and a standalone. The film is the seventh installment in the Transformers film series and a standalone sequel to Bumblebee.
Okay, okay,
So that gives it some potential.
yeah, yeah,
Bumblebee
that might
wasn't
be.
perfect, but it was charming.
Yeah, I enjoyed Bumblebee. So, but yeah, yeah, it could be good. You know,
Yep. And
if
as a
it, yeah,
'90s kid, Beast Wars was my Transformers. So
yeah,
if they
and
do it right, being able to see things like Dinobot or whatnot being around would be awesome.
oh yeah, yeah, and of course all the Transformers have their Gen 1 look. So,
Yeah, so real potential.
yeah.
Let's see here. And of course, Ezra Miller's The Flash with Michael Keaton still listed. I don't know if he's actually going to end up being in it or not.
It might be it might be worth going to see just to see if that's true or not, although I think I'll just wait for the spoilers.
Yeah, I would go if I had somebody to go with at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, I'm yeah.
And then, of course, the movie that people won't shut up about on YouTube, resulting in lots of conspiracy theories and insider rumors. And is
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy fired? Harold and the Purple Crayon. Oh, oh, and also Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is actually going to be a pretty busy June
Yeah.
because I don't remember there being this variety of movies last year, really.
No, not really. I think COVID was still kind of messing with people a little bit last year. So and now nobody cares. So it's
Yep.
back to the regular old summer movie season.
Also, there's a level where we're now 2 years away from 2021, where things started to loosen up a bit.
Hmm.
So we're probably seeing the fruits of that. Also, the first action heroine, Jennifer Lawrence, is going to be in a movie called No Hard Feelings.
Yes, she's such a trailblazer. Yes.
Yes. But Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, man, the public relations on this movie could the only way you could make it worse was if you had some sort of Me Too scandal with Harrison Ford come out
No.
around now. Because like up till now, it's the narrative is that as far as I've seen people talking about it is, look, he's too old. He should, not too old to be president apparently, but he's too old.
Yeah.
He keeps hurting himself when he was filming this stupid thing.
Yeah.
Nobody liked the Crystal Skull. I actually kind of liked it at the time, but I haven't seen it since I developed taste.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted another Indiana Jones movie. That's a go away and let us be happy with our nostalgia franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly think they would have been better. What they probably should have done would be to recast Shia LaBeouf's character from Crystal Skull,
Mm.
have it be set in like the 60s or whatever, and give him something different to do. Like, let him be the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah. But yeah, but that would require forethought and
And of course, directly referencing Crystal Skull.
yeah, which I was like you. Yeah, I enjoyed Crystal Skull when I first saw it, but then I think I watched it again when it came out on DVD, and I'm like, okay, this wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Hey, Ninja Toe.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny sounds like,
Sounds like a telephone.
yes,
Yeah.
like a radio dial or something. But I
Yeah.
know they mean a sundial, but dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here. Also, somebody pointed out it kind of follows the Crystal Skull thing where it's named after the MacGuffin and not the location or the general idea.
Yeah, which that's also not a very good sign.
No, in fact, now that I think about it, uh, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. What was the subtitle in the first one?
It was rated. It was well. It was just called Raiders of the Lost Ark, and
Okay,
then
excuse me. I'm thinking of the third one, The Last
oh,
Crusade.
Last
Like
Crusade. Yeah.
it's like the two really good Indiana Jones movies have indirect titles
Hmm. Even
where,
even Temple of Doom. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Temple of Doom is generally seen as the worst of the first three, and
Hmm.
it's the one with the most direct title.
Yeah.
So clearly, the mark of quality in an Indiana Jones movie is how indirectly you refer to the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Now we're actually between June and July here. We're actually starting to May, June, and July. That's actually a pretty packed Marvel season and superhero season because you've got Guardians 3 in May, start of May.
Yeah.
Then you've got
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Across the Universe, which the first one actually didn't do as well as people remember.
Hmm.
Like a little bit of deviation over here to the numbers. Although I think that one was built like that Spider-Man movie was built up a lot on Netflix.
Right. Yeah. There's it's underneath Homecoming.
Like 375 worldwide. Black Adam outdid that.
Yeah.
Although it's a $90 million budget, so it did fine for itself. It's just
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, I think people were probably confused by it. Like, was it is it related? Was it related to like the Tom Holland Spider-Man? Is this like a new, different, other thing? That's what got me. I think that it confused me. I'm like, oh, is this that's what confused me, and then I realized, oh, it's just its own self-contained thing, and like, all right,
yeah. Also, I think that the fact that it didn't actually star Peter can't help because
oh,
like Miles is
yeah,
popular, but not as popular as Peter.
yeah, and then the Peter Parker that's in there was a fat loser.
Basically, the Jake Skywalker of Peter Parkers.
Yeah,
At least the one who lived. The one who died was a great Peter Parker.
yes,
But so like how will that one do? I think that the movie's reputation is built up over time. Also, people like the trailers for that one, the original one, just hurt my eyes because of the weird frame rate and animation style.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not a
same here.
fan of this low frame rate animation CGI style that seems to have been cropping up places.
Yeah, it's kind of it's sort of claymation esque in a way.
Yeah,
It's mm,
but and then as far as genre fiction, you got Transformers, then The Flash 2 weeks later, then
yeah,
Indiana Jones the week after that. Like this is a proper summer blockbuster season.
oh yeah,
It's just a question of will Flash and Indiana Jones trip over the finish line?
yeah. Yeah, Ninja Toast says at least Peter B. Parker did the arc right. Yeah,
Yeah, he redeemed himself.
yeah.
It's here, July. Insidious, Fear the Dark, another horror movie.
Eh,
Way fewer releases than June, which is typical.
yeah. And then Mission Impossible did Reckoning Part 1,
This could
which
very
I'm
easily be another billion-dollar Tom Cruise movie after Maverick basically reminded the world, hell yeah, we actually really like Tom Cruise, even if he's kind of insane.
yeah, yeah. And I will say with the Mission Impossible movies, right around I would say either the fourth or fifth movie, they start getting really good.
Let's hear. I've seen Ghost Protocol in the theaters and really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
also saw the first one on probably VHS way back in the day, but I haven't seen the others.
Yeah, the issue I think, especially with like the first three movies, is they all had different directors, and their styles were obvious and widely different. I mean, you had Brian De Palma did the first one, and they were trying to make that like trying to make it like the TV show,
Mm.
and then John Woo directed the second one, and yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, and it's a very John Woo movie, and it doesn't really fit with the rest of the franchise, and it's actually considered the weaker of the franchise. And then
that's what I've heard.
yeah, and then J.J. Abrams did the third one with his mystery box, and that was okay. Um, and then, but yeah, like Ghost Protocol was the fourth one, and that's when it started getting really good.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's basically like a Captain America series without a shield.
Pretty much, yeah. And Ninja Toast says he thinks Indy 5 will be a slight financial success opening weekend. I think so too. Yeah.
I think it will probably have Marvel numbers where it has a biggish first weekend and just dies when people actually see it
Yeah.
and talk about it.
But
The,
yeah, I suspect yeah, Mission Impossible will do very well. Yeah.
yes. And that's one of those things where it'll also help the back catalog because now you can come out with new Blu-ray editions for old movies
Hmm. Oh
and
yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, 4K releases. Yeah.
Yep. Uh, Charge extra money for streaming on different services, that so on.
Yes.
Although that one's Paramount. Paramount is like it's kind of a basket case when it comes to Star Trek, but their other stuff seems to finally be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess because somebody finally said, "Look, guys, we got to make money at some point."
Yeah.
they're actually required to keep a certain amount level of profitability after their remerger with the CBS half of the company.
Oh, yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
like as part of the as I recall hearing that as part of the uh, firm requirements that the FCC gave them on their mergers that they had to keep it was either the stock price or the profit level above a certain amount,
Mm.
which
Uh,
it's I don't know they probably got a buy because of COVID, but that's
yeah.
of
uh,
course we've got Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling and Barbie.
no.
That's some nice counter programming.
Yeah. Yeah, not no, no. I don't I
Op-
will not be attending that one.
bark, 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 bark,
That's
bark. Then we got Oppenheimer
that
the same weekend.
yeah, that's Christopher Nolan.
So it'll be very elaborate.
Probably long.
Yes. Let's see here. Then we've got the Marvels coming in at the very tail end of July, which that is
Mm,
not a that's really close to the last Marvel movie, isn't it?
yeah, the
Well, I guess Spider-Man
Spider-Man I don't think kind
doesn't
of
really
counts, but
count.
it's 3 months almost 3 months after Guardians.
Yeah, they're going back to their quick pace release for Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Um, boy, if only the Kamala Khan show had been watched by people,
Yeah.
well received by people who aren't Kamran Pasha.
Yeah.
I got halfway through the first episode and said, life's too short. I don't feel like watching this anymore. It seems fine for what it's trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no interest in watching it.
It's going to be very so. Basically, you're going to have the movie that made the star of the movie that made $1 billion that nobody talks about, except to say, yeah, we were kind of hoodwinked, weren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
Ninja asks, are these Marvel films part of Phase 5 or 4?
5?
Five.
Yeah, 5.
Originally, apparently Ant-Man was going to be part of like the tail end of Phase 4. They've changed it over to being the start of Phase 5 because they realized that Phase 4, aka Phase 4, is kind of toxic marketing at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Black Panther was the last in Phase 4, which is a good thing.
Yes, a funeral for a Phase and for Chadwick.
Yes.
But anyways, so you've got Brie Larson, the head of the Marvel movie that made $1 billion because it was sandwiched between the two Avengers movies. And
Yeah.
they lied to us at the end of the first Infinity Saga movie and made it
Yeah.
seem like, oh, we got to go find out who Captain Marvel is because she's going to be so important in the second one. Nope.
No.
I remember still like that scene where Thanos punched her over the horizon. On the
Yeah.
one hand, it's cool that he punched her over the horizon. On the other hand, she probably is the strongest Avenger because of Mary Sudom,
Yeah.
and he had to use the Power Stone to do that.
Yeah, that bothered me. Yeah, and um, apparently, I read somewhere that like the Russo brothers, like the
Mhm.
reason they kept her out of the movie for almost for as long as they did was because of how freaking overpowered she was.
Yeah, like she would have made a lot of situations pointless.
Yeah,
It's the Superman problem without the morals.
right.
Then you've got the other two Marvels, both of whom were introduced in Disney Plus shows. People seem to have a more positive reaction to WandaVision than I think it deserves.
Yeah,
Probably because it was the first show, so a lot of people watched it.
yeah,
Um, but you got a character introduced in a TV show, another character who got her own TV show that seemingly nobody watched.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see how that does.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna do that well.
I have a similar feeling. That tail end of July launch date does not speak confidence.
No. Yeah, because that's you're getting close to school starting. Yeah.
Hmm. And also August, unless your movie's titled Guardians of the Galaxy, is one of the places where they dump movies, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Speaking of, the Meg 2, The Trench.
Why?
Did you ever see the Meg?
No, I didn't.
As far as creature feature movies, it is not bad.
No.
Although I watched it very close to when I watched Pacific Rim, and I realized, does somebody at Warner Brothers have a hard on for underwater monster movies? Because it seems like that's all they're making right now.
Yeah, maybe.
It's nice to see a Jason Statham in something. He always plays the same character, but he's likable.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have the animated Seth Rogen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Uh, well, you can
So
all you can tell by the shirt I'm wearing. Yeah.
yes, that you'll be there for opening weekend. Happy to see whatever Seth Rogen's interpretation of the characters are.
Maybe.
All right, let's. So who do you think is going to be gay? My money's on
uh,
Donatello
I would say yeah, either Donatello or Michelangelo.
because I seem to recall them talking about it's reflecting modern teenagedom or whatever
Yeah, or
or
yeah.
something like that.
Well, or Well, you might have like Donatello be gay, and then like Michelangelo's non-binary.
Uh, yeah. See, then you've got a surprisingly packed weekend here, which I only heard that they were making this movie. They're making a Gran Turismo movie,
Hmm.
which that's an unusual video game to adapt, seeing as how there's no characters and it's just a car race.
Yeah. They kind of they did that once before with Need for Speed, and that movie didn't do very well.
No, but as long as somebody can go into a studio and say, "Oh, this is a best-selling video game," you have a built-in audience.
Mm.
These movies will keep happening. Speaking of Haunted Mansion with Owen with Owen
Owen
Wilson
Wilson?
and Rosario Dawson.
Oh,
Oh, and also Orlando Bloom's in Gran Turismo. So hopefully you got a nice paycheck out of that.
yeah, yeah. David Harbour, who's that's Hopper from Stranger Things.
Hmm. But Haunted Mansion gets another go around. That the first one was a bomb.
Yeah, it just about put about the final nail in the coffin for Eddie Murphy's career.
Yeah, and then they came up with like what 1,000 words or whatever, where it's like there was the tree, and every time he spoke, a leaf would
Yeah,
fall and he'd die at the end.
yeah, and then Norbit. Remember Norbit?
Oh God, yeah, where he's like, well, shoot, Tyler Perry's making all this money playing Medea. I can get into a fat suit and put on a stereotypical accent.
Yeah. Oh man, Pluto Nash broke him, I think.
Yes. Then we got Blue Beetle, which
I
August 18th. Of all the DC properties they have left to shove out the door, I think that one has the most potential to be something good on its own.
I think so too. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually somewhat curious about that movie because I've seen the behind the scenes pictures
Hmm.
and the costume looks cool.
Oh, also, I can't believe I just noticed that they put in the cinema blend thing on all their pictures.
Yeah.
I thought that was some sort of ironic 80s t shirt that
Oh.
Chris Pratt had in this picture.
Oh
Because it
man.
kind of looks like it's very well integrated.
Yeah.
Let's see. So They Listen. I wonder if that's the sequel to Women Talking.
Maybe John. I don't know. John Cho. Oh, that's interesting.
Let's see here. Then we hit September, which is another dump month.
Yeah.
Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington. I
Why?
did not realize they'd made a Equalizer 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Denzel Washington is pushing 70.
Is
Like,
he really? Wow.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, yeah.
I mean, he looks great, but I mean, they ought to do
That's
like a
68. Wow.
68, yeah. Um, but yeah, They should do like a Son of Equalizer and put his son in it
Yeah.
because he was good in Tenet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, speaking of actors, Expendable who are past their prime, Expendables 4?
oh
2023 is the year of Jason Statham, I guess.
wow, Expendables 4. I would have thought after the third movie bombed that they wouldn't do another one.
They were working on an Expendables with a bunch of female action stars. That seems to have fallen through.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Dean
You-
Rhino says, yeah, Evil Dead Rise looks interesting. Did I miss that topic? Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. Dean Rhino, I'm not really all that interested in it, because mainly because Bruce Campbell isn't in it.
And I'm not really a horror guy, so
Yeah,
I've seen one of the Evil Dead movies. I forget which one.
is it?
I've never actually gotten around to seeing Army of Darkness, which I probably should.
You probably you either saw the first one or the second one.
Which isn't the second one basically a remake of the first one, more or less?
More or less, yeah. Only the second one's more of a comedy than the first one.
I think I ended up seeing the first one because I don't remember there being a lot of comedy in the one I saw.
Yeah, it's probably the first one. Did Bruce Campbell look like he was 12 years old?
Um, it's been 15 years.
Oh, okay. Because the first movie he looked like he was like 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it you know we'll see. I mean it could turn out to be a good movie. I don't know.
Yeah. As could Expendables 4 because Stallone, like even in his bad movies, he's entertaining.
Yeah, be interesting to see who they get back for that because I know like when your boy Zach did he's a fan of Evil Dead. Yeah, I mean I like it too. But yeah, we'll just wait and see, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, because I remember like when your boy Zach did the comic book. I think it was what's his name, Terry Crews, didn't want to participate in it in the comic book. So I wonder if he'll be in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. Or for that matter, who would be new to bring in?
Yeah. Said he thinks the new movie is a sequel to the reboot. Probably.
Are
I
we
didn't see
talking
the
Evil Dead still, or
Evil Dead. Yeah.
okay?
I didn't see the reboot. Um, but um, but yeah, yeah. Let
I
me.
mean, if you're seeing potential in it, that's good to hear because the
Yeah,
world needs more good movies.
yeah, and I certainly won't dissuade you from going to see it if you want to go see it. So okay, they got okay. So I'm looking at the cast now. It's yeah, you got Jason Statham, 50 Cent, 50 Cent, really?
Wow.
Megan Fox is in
Um,
this.
I mean, 50 Cent is bulletproof.
Well, that's true. Yeah, Megan Fox. I haven't seen her in a long time.
She was in the Ninja Turtle Michael Bay movies, right?
Yeah, but the second movie of that came out like in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so Dolph Lundgren's back.
Good,
Um.
as he should
Randy.
be.
Yeah. Randy Couture is back. Stallone. That looks like that's it. I'm not seeing Terry Crews or like Jet Li or um, Schwarzenegger or anybody like that. So
Well, that'll be interesting to see at least.
yeah. Hey Chingus, good to see you.
Then we hit October. Craven the Hunter. Boy,
Hmm.
it's going to be time to morb on again
Yeah.
with another Sony Spider Man movie introducing the villain in their own movie without Spider Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, and Craven's played by the one of the twins from Bullet Train.
Oh, okay.
The
The
Oh
tubby black one, right?
no, yeah, yeah. Who likes Thomas the Train?
Yes. Uh, D Rhino says they ruined Craven for me. That's what a diesel would say.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
uh,
I suspect that'll be another unmitigated disaster.
yeah, yeah.
Although, ironically, an October launch would have been more appropriate for Morbius, the Living Vampire.
Yeah. You'd think so.
Heck. We got another Exorcist movie and Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie. I have about equal interest in watching either one of those.
Is that a remake of The Exorcist
I'm
or a
assuming.
reboot? Why?
I
You
don't know.
don't need to reboot that movie or remake it.
Speaking of unnecessary movies, Saw 10.
I mean, why not?
It's been long enough. It's been long enough that it's nostalgic now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Changa says, if Craven flops, I hope Sony releases it again a second time and loses money like Morbius. I think they've probably learned their lesson.
Yeah.
Their release plans for these other spin-off movies kind of like October isn't an awful time, but it's basically going, we want something that isn't a horror movie to put out in October.
Yeah.
Isn't that when Black Adam came out, was in October?
I think so. Yeah.
Calling it now, EDR will beat The Exorcist and Saw 10. Very likely.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah.
Let's see here. November we get Dune Part 2, which is good because at that point I'll feel like I can actually discuss, gauge whether I liked Dune 1 or not.
Yeah. Yeah, because they it's the first book, and they split it into is it 2 or 3 movies?
I think it's 2.
2. Okay. Yeah, because the where they ended the first part was a little odd to me. Because if you know anything about the Dune story, like,
which I don't as much outside of the movie, but
yeah, yeah. Okay, it's 2. Ninja Toast says 2 films. All right. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Dune Part 2. Yeah, because because I thought the first part it was fairly faithful to the books. So,
and as somebody without a huge opinion on the books, I thought it was an enjoyable setup.
Yeah.
So will they pay it off? Speaking of heavily anticipated sequels, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. Apparently, our friend Daniel here has never seen the original Chicken Run.
No.
If you like stop motion, it's worth a watch just for that because it's mastercraft in it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't appear that they brought back Mel Gibson.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, can't imagine why.
Yeah.
But I only have seen that it exists.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll wait for a trailer to see if I actually want to go see it because I do like stop motion just on its own. Mm-hmm. It's like you watch a Ray Harryhausen movie. Oh, are they any good? No, but they have stop motion dinosaurs. So it's got that going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Hunger Game: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes, D. Rhino is right. It's done. Let it die. Yeah.
Yes, we don't need a prequel. No. The world isn't that interesting.
Ninja Toe, he hasn't seen Chicken Run.
Yes, both of these are true.
Both of these are true. Yeah.
Speaking of unnecessary sequels, Trolls 3.
I haven't seen Trolls 1 or 2.
They are basically kids' movies focused on music. Pop music being sung by celebrities who look like trolls.
Explains Justin Timberlake.
Yep. Trolls 2 dropped during pandemic times, and it was kind of infamous for AMC being pissy that they put it straight to digital.
Oh, Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So I'm a little. I guess it is 3 years now. I mean, that's a decent amount of time for a well-received kids franchise.
Yeah.
We've got Wish with Alan Tudyk.
I don't
Uh,
know anything about that.
Me either, but Alan Tudyk is usually amusing to watch in anything he's in.
True.
He elevates the Resident Alien TV show when they
And
allow him to.
yeah, yeah. And say whatever you want about Rogue One. He was really good in that.
Yes, he was the robot, right?
Yeah, he was K2.
Let's see here. And then surprisingly, we don't have any major December releases until the 15th with
Wonka?
Wonka.
Oh, is this a prequel?
Yes. It's about how he starts the factory and gets his Oompa Loompas.
I don't care.
No, I actually didn't like. I actually didn't really care for what do you call it? The backstory that they gave him in the Tim Burton Willy Wonka.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my reaction to that one is it's the direct inverse of my reaction to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm,
So Pirates of the Caribbean, I actually really hated the first movie except for Johnny Depp,
really?
and for whatever reason. And then Wonka, I hated or I really liked everything except for Johnny Depp because he was doing his creepy Michael Jackson portrayal.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but we've got The Color Purple, bound to be a good time for all.
Well, again, why?
That's right, they already had a movie, didn't they?
Yeah, yes. Steven Spielberg directed it. He was nominated. It was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. I think this was like during that Black Panther era where you had some racial guilt going through Hollywood, so they would just rubber
Uh,
stamp a lot of things.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like, okay, what's something we can put out? Well, the only movie, well, some executive says the only movie I've ever seen starring a black woman is The Color Purple, so let's remake that.
Oh god, yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think Whoopi Goldberg was in that,
Yeah, I think so.
I know Oprah Winfrey was in it.
Yeah, I
The the
think she
the
did a lot of
Oprah.
the funding for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. D. Rhino says, next up, the prequel to Twilight. You know it's going to happen one day, perhaps soon. Okay, so let me make a case that a prequel to Twilight could be good. Because imagine that you have a young Edward Cullen, it, and you put it, you know that they were moving around. They didn't stay in one place for too long to avoid questions about why they weren't aging, right?
Right.
You could put him in a very interesting circumstance.
Hmm.
You could have him struggling with being a vegetarian vampire. You wouldn't have the romance with Bella weighing him down as an interesting character.
Yeah.
You could even like do like a Wolverine type story where I don't know, I'm just going to spitball here. He's serving in World War II. Actually, no, that wouldn't work because then they would start questioning why he wasn't aging.
Yeah, and
But
and if he gets shot, why didn't he die? Why isn't he?
there we
Yeah.
go. He gets drafted in World War II and he fakes his death like on the attack on Omaha Beach because that's his way to
Uh,
get out of it. And then it's him trying to get home afterwards, and he can fall in love with a French resistance girl. And I go, I'm not part of this. This isn't. And she's just very confused about it at first. And then she dies in the course of the movie, and that's when he closes his heart off until Bella mopes at him. There, I've just made a better love story than Twilight.
there you go. You listening, Hollywood? Be sure to send him the checks though.
Yes, because like now of course the problem with that as a Twilight prequel is that I've just suggested an action romance or an action comic or an action romance with a vampire versus Nazis, which is way too interesting for the Twilight base audience.
That's true.
But I am going to write that down because that could actually be interesting uh, to turn into my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you could just have a thing where a vampire gets drafted and just wants no part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. D. Rhino seems to agree. Write it down.
Yep. Let's see. Then we've got Untitled Ghostbusters sequel, which I'll be curious to see how that one does because
Yeah.
technically the last Ghostbusters movie broke even ish,
Hmm.
but it was really well received and didn't cost very much.
Yeah, it's
And I enjoyed that one.
yeah, I did too. Um, maybe a little too much nostalgia bait in it, but yeah, it was a good movie.
And then the last of the Snyderverse movies that I'm aware of, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
No.
I have no interest in that. Miss Heard is in it,
Yes.
but it's also because it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's a Black Canary movie coming out this year. What? That's right, starring Jussie Smollett's sister. I forgot all about that.
Oh,
So,
why?
so it's a race bend too. Hooray!
Oh. Did she play her? Did she play Black Canary in Birds of Prey?
Do not recall.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got A Quiet Place 3, whatever, horror, not Legally Blonde 3. Really?
No.
Apple TV Plus is doing a movie about Napoleon starring Joaquin Phoenix. That could be interesting.
Joaquin Phoenix is too tall to play Napoleon.
Actually, historically he was actually pretty average height. Just that's like British propaganda to like make him seem ridiculous.
Okay. I thought he was like I thought he was like 5'6" or 5'7".
How tall was Napoleon? Between 5'4" and 5. Huh. Which, thanks to this handy height chart here that I just happened to find online.
Yes.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, a black lady playing a character called Black Canary, not racist at all.
Ba, 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 the Nazis. Da, 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 da.
Gladiators, yeah.
So,
Helen of
okay,
Troy.
where did that go? Okay, so I'm not sure if that wasn't helpful.
Yeah.
That they had the link on the search page, but anyway, basically he was like apparently 5'7" according to this site. So they were saying some things I'm not sure if I believe. Basically, he wasn't the minuscule guy that they've done here.
Yeah, not like in Bill and Ted.
Yes. Star Wars Rogue Squadron rating TBD. Yeah, that isn't happening.
That's not. Yeah. They're not making that.
I think it's things that are officially on the release date for 2023, but
yeah, to be determined. Yeah.
Special mention for early 2024. A movie that's being sent out to die. So, people watching the cast, who here has ever heard of El Muerto? He's a Spider-Man villain. He appeared in one 2000s Spider-Man comic written by Peter David. Does anyone remember that storyline? It happened during the Civil War era where Peter had the Iron Spider suit and also had the Wolverine claws. Not getting a response. Basically, Sony had an actor who's apparently some sort of singer that they wanted to work with. It's like they're going, well, what could we cast him as? We have all the rights to all these Spider-Man characters. Well, let's do this El Muerto character who has appeared in 1, 2, or 3 issue storyline that nobody remembers except for DB from 15 years ago. Because like when someone told me about it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that storyline because it's Peter David, and Peter David elevates even not terribly great stories.
Yeah. Yeah, Dean Rhino. No, he didn't. He never heard of him.
At 216, Madam Web. Okay, they are just putting all of these Spider-Man spin-off movies in the Morbius vein between October and February to die.
Yep.
We also got Kung Fu Panda 4 and Godzilla vs. Kong 2 to look forward to in 2024.
Kung Fu Panda might be all right.
Godzilla versus Kong should be at least good kaiju fun.
Yes.
Also, we're getting the next Joker movie. Oh,
The musical.
oh, interesting. They're putting Sonic the Hedgehog 3 up against Avatar 3, basically.
Ooh.
All hail Shadow, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate Shadow the Hedgehog. He has a rabid fan base.
Oh, you got Deadpool 3 on November 8th.
Yep.
That should. I mean, they're
Marvel's
bringing.
Blade.
Blade.
Inside Out 2. Pixar going, hey, remember the last movie we made that people agreed was like Pixar magic? Let's try that again.
Mm.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Do we really need another movie in that Planet of the Apes series?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So another Spider-Verse movie a year later.
Mhm.
Man, 2024 is not looking too great. Oh, and also we get Wicked 20 years after they could have had the original stars in it. I
Yeah.
can't believe they couldn't make that happen. In back when Adina Menzel or whatever her name was, and
Yeah.
Legally Blonde, or no, it wasn't Legally Blonde Girl. Who was? I actually saw them I actually got to see them live with my grandfather in New York. So,
Oh.
like, believe me, we have missed out because they did it. They dithered around.
Oh wow. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see.
D.
Wicked.
Rhino, I sadly don't think that Sonic will win. However, it does seem like people are willing to counter program children's aimed stuff against Avatar. So that's,
Yeah.
it's working out
Uh.
okay for Puss in Boots.
Yeah. Kristen Chenoweth.
Thank you. Kristen Chenoweth and Adina Menzel.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Unfortunately, they're too old unless they happened to do an animated version of it, which wouldn't be an awful idea either.
Yeah. Hmm.
Karate Kid movie, man. There was a lot of things that we looked over 2023 that made us kind of roll our eyes. I think there's more that I'm legitimately looking forward to in 2023 than 2024.
Yeah. Same here. Although you got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning 2 there.
Yeah,
That might be.
a lot
But,
of a lot of 1 year sequel movies actually.
yeah. You got Marvel's Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Thunderbolts, that makes sense for a franchise where they're known for killing off the villains.
Yeah.
Baron Zemo being the only one who's still alive by some magic.
Yeah.
That you can build a whole franchise off of him. Why not?
Yeah. First, you got to get him out of the Wakanda prison.
Yeah. Which look, the Wakandans aren't the most competent people,
That's true.
unless they have, except for when they have plot armor. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, it's another Marvel, Captain America: New World Order.
yeah, no, Mr. Griffin, no.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically a lot of franchises, a lot of stuff that's been built up as backlog over the last few years, really.
Yeah.
There's more movies on this list here that you found us than we had on that other list. So, but yeah, it's possible that
Yeah.
there could be some good movies in here, and of course there'll be the usual bevy of independent releases.
Yeah. These are all major studio releases that you're looking at here. So there could be some hidden gems in the indies that you know could be worth a watch and worth spending your money on.
Yep. Well, on that note, I knew this was going to be a while. Thanks to
Yeah.
everyone who stuck around during this plus-size length episode.
Yes. Thank you all for watching us talking about movies.
Yep. So I think that we're basically seeing more franchise stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes. But yeah, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already,
Comment.
comments, yes, ring the bell for notifications, and we will see you all next week. So,
Yep.
good
Have
night,
a good night,
everybody.
everyone.